and today you will be creating with Colleen. So I have a bunch of stuff in store for you today, some really great projects. In fact, two cards we're going to make. They are cards that I have wanted to try this pattern for some time, and kind of kicked my butt a little bit in the beginning for two reasons. One, I had just come off of vacation, so I was like in vacation mode, wasn't clearly thinking. And two, I'm using designer paper where a lot of people will use cardstock, and it's easier with cardstock. But you know, I will walk you through it step by step. I will teach you what to do. I may teach you what not to do, but you know, I promise to always teach you something. So again, my name is Colleen Magnus, and I come live to you every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time. So as I said, I just spent last week at Lake Gaston, and it really is the most wonderful place on earth for me. It's my favorite place. It's always brings, you know, an agenda of the work I'm going to do, and I always bring that work back with me because the days were spent with family on the lake, dragging kids around, you know, on the raft, and it's all good. It's all good. And I'm also giving thanks because the week before we went, it was rainy. They got a lot of rain. Beautiful week. I think it rained twice, both times at night. And now we have Debbie coming up the coast, so we're getting rain this week. So God was good, and we had a wonderful, wonderful time. So I did want to let you know yesterday was a very exciting day for demonstrators or anybody who's a part of Stampin' Up! Because we got to pre-order from the mini catalog. Y'all know we have our September through December mini catalog coming up, and my product will be here this week. I'm so excited. So if you want to get in on anything like that, being a demonstrator, that's such a scary word, but many, many people join simply for the discount. If you're going to be buying a lot of Stampin' Up! Merchandise, why not save it, you know, save your money and buy it from yourself. But basically, you get to pre-order, so that is a bonus. You save a minimum of 20% on everything, and you get me as an upline. I do a lot of different things with my team. In fact, these two cards we're making today, we have a quarterly event, and I do this with my dear friend Tanya Reed, and I demonstrated these cards with them. So now you get to see them today too. But if you are interested in the starter kit, there is no obligation once you purchase it. But basically you select $125 in product, and it can be the new product, ooh, and then you only pay $99, and the shipping and handling is free. And then anything after that you purchase, you get your discount. So contact me if you have more questions on that. You don't have to live here locally. I stamp with my team both virtually and in person. And I have the best team, I'm sorry. Let me just tell you that, because we're Stampin' family. That's what it's all about. So without further ado, let me just tell you though, if you are interested and you don't have any questions, just go to my blog, creatingwithcolleen.com. There you can always purchase, you can join my team, and you can sign up for my newsletter. So I am going to boot up here. Let me see what I got going on. So far, technology seems to be working. So I am not gonna, you know, I'm not going to chance that. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll say hello to everybody. And can't wait to show you these cards. They're a lot of fun. So let me turn you down. Here we go. This is always the ugly part of the video, trying to get everything right. But we'll get there. We will get there. Okay, so, hey, Debbie, I'm glad you're here. You finally caught me live from Ontario, Canada. Well, good, Debbie. I'm glad you are in the house today while we stamp. And y'all know if you can't catch me live, then you really can. You can always catch me. I don't know if I should try to lower that. You can always catch me on the replay. Nope. I got my stand a little high, but that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to push my luck. Karen, it is an exciting project. It's one I've been putting off, but I've always loved the look of it. Bonnie, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Susan. Glad you are here. You got a sneak peek of this last night. But now I'm going to go even more in depth and show you how to make the actual card, the whole thing. Judith, I'm glad you're here. Carol, Gwen, Tina. My goodness, from Maryland. Very good. And hello, Kay. So what I'm doing, I don't know if they have a name for this or not. This is like a swirled card. And I have always loved this. I was always intrigued by that. A lot of times people will do it with cardstock, because then you don't have to worry about your patterns. And that is fine. Either way is fine. You could do this as a hybrid. Ombre technique. You could go from light to darks, You can use coordinating colors, contrasting colors, whatever you want. And then this is another swirl card. Now we were talking about this, and I was telling Tanya it reminds me of a yin yang, which she said you had to be a hippie to know what that was. I kind of disagree. Although, well, yeah, I might have been a hippie back in the day, but it does remind me of the yin yang that we used to see all the time. And if you're probably younger than 35, you might not even know what that is. So I'm going to show you how to make these two cards out of 6 circles. And the reason I wanted to use the designer paper was because Stampin' Up! Is having a designer series paper sale. So that started yesterday also, very exciting. And basically from now to the 31st of August, you can save 15% on select designer series papers. So we have these here. And the reason I definitely wanted to use Countryside In is because that is an online exclusive. That was in a catalog, everybody loved it, and then you can still get it, but it's online, you might not know that. So is Winter Meadow. Winter Meadow is a gorgeous, gorgeous paper, but it's not featured in our catalog. So not all the designer papers are on sales. The ones that are here are the ones that are on sale, and you would have received this flyer in my newsletter if you are signed up for that. So that's what I wanted to showcase. And I'll probably do that pretty much all month, I think, for most of the month. I want to showcase these designer series papers because, one, they're beautiful, and two, it's a good time to stock up. So as I said, if you had joined Stampin' Up! For the discount, you would get a minimum of 20% off and then an additional 15% off. So you can't beat it when you can get a product for 35% off. So Terry, I'm glad you're here. Yes, Debbie, it is one of my favorite papers too. Really is beautiful. So while we get going, I wanted to also point out before we get going, because otherwise I forget, I had 4 cards that I had drawn names for people who liked and shared this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. But I'm still waiting for Judy Dawson and Carol Helms. If you're watching this, you have about another week or so to claim your cards. So if you see this, then go ahead and send me your address. You can email it to me, you can private message me, whatever works for you, and I'll be glad to drop these in the mail to you. And you know what? If you like and share my video on this one, the 2 cards I make today, I'll draw 2 more names next week, and I'll mail those cards to you. If you're watching the replay, you can still do it because it normally takes me a couple days. So I'm going to get brave. I don't know if I'm brave or silly. I don't know what it is. And I'm going to cut this in front of you. Again, for some reason, when I first started this, when I was doing this, it was very confusing. But I was on vacation mode. I find that when you go on vacation, you come back with amnesia. So anyways, I think I got it. And if not, I'll teach you what not to do. Either way, it's a win-win. Okay. So to make this card, you are going to need 6 circles. You need a large and a small. And I am using the stitched shapes. You could use whatever you want, but I have a large circle, a small circle. And I use the largest one. So that's the largest circle, the next smallest, and then largest, medium, smallest. So when you do this, for designer paper, you need to have your centers, you need to have 2 of the same. Then these are like the same size, but they're switched. They have to coordinate like that. So if you cut these circles, I can show you how to make both cards. So what I'm going to do is, let me put them over here. I used my paper trimmer to cut it. I didn't do any measuring or anything, but this roughly, when I hold it on here, this is my center line, and I just kind of tried to eye it in there. I looked on the sides here. I don't know if you can see. Let me get my pencil. When I put it in here, this with the large one's the center. If I kind of put it from this edge to this edge right here, that would be 1 1/2. Then I could cut it in half. So I would put it up here. Again, I just eye that section, and close enough does count, but you really do want to get them pretty much as close as you can. So I'm going to take one for each card like that. So that's one. I'm going to set them aside here. Let me do the small one. Now the small one, that's like a little over 2. So what I did is I kind of centered it up. And can y'all see where there's a 1 and a 1? Those are the lines I'm looking at. So I just kind of, that line, that line. If you feel like you want to measure, you can, but I find this worked out pretty well. Okay. So then those go there. So let me do my large one again. Again, the large one. You know, I was looking at this. This is probably plastic you're supposed to pull off, and I've never pulled it off. So I will do that afterwards. It'd be like I have a brand new cutter. So here, I've got my 2 sides. So that there. I'm going to do my small one again. So when I line it up here, and again, I pretty much find the center, and I'm looking at the line on each side to try to get it centered in there. Does that make sense? So then I've got that and that. Now the center, the reason I wanted to show you the center was because for me, the centers have a pattern. So originally I thought, oh, I'll just cut it like this. Well, you can't because your circles are going this way. So let me see if I'm trying to hold that up really close. So what you do, if you're working with a pattern, make sure that you're cutting this way because your circles are going to go that way. So I'm going to put this here. Let me see. Okay. So I'm kind of looking at this line and this line. And then make sure your pattern is straight. Okay. Now with this, you want the same circle to go with the same card because as you can see, they'll match up like this. Let me see. They'll match up. If I put them separate, then I'll have 2 upside, 2 one way and 2 the other. So both of these circles will go with the same card. And then this one the same. See, that's why I got really confused, y'all, because it was a little bit harder with designer paper. If you want to try this first with just cardstock, get a feel for it, that's probably not a bad idea. And then I'll put this with this. So when it's all said and done, I have, again, my 2 centers. That's the bottom for that one. And then just the opposite. I'm not going to lay them out because I might get them all confused and then we're really in trouble. And then I have all these here. So I'll put them aside. So basically they're just the tops of those circles. So I didn't really have measurements to write up, but I did want to put this on here when you look at it. So here you have the small circle for the, and the large circle. They were the different ones, and then 2 of the medium circles. For the swirl card, for this one here, the swirl card, I'm going to adhere the circles, the bottom circle, the bottom here, I'm going to adhere the circles to the left. And then the top of these circles, I'm going to adhere them to the right. You'll see that. Okay. So when I do these, remember you have to have the opposites. Your 2 centers and this. Those are your opposites. So I will get my tape. So for the bottom, I'm going to adhere everything to the left. So I will put my tape on here. And that's what I mean to the left. You're lining up the top, but it's all going to the left corner here. And I'll put this on. It's raining now. Good day to be home in the stamp room. So I have that. Now for the top, I'm going to adhere everything to the right. So that's going to be my top. So I will take my middle one. And I'll put this on the right. Like that. And then the smaller one in the center. Like that. Y'all with me? Nice thing is you could always back up and try it again. So here, when I have these 2 pieces, you can see since my pattern, I use the same piece. They're all facing up. All those little flowers are facing up. And then when you put them together, that, my friends, is what makes your swirl. Isn't that cool? Okay. So for this one, I've already embossed this with the exposed brick. And I didn't technically give measurements, but y'all know this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to do that horizontal. And then this, of course, would be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'll put this on. Those are just standard card sizes, if I can say that. So as I said, this will go on like that. Isn't that cool? Woo, I can't tell you how long I have been wanting to do this. It really has been fun. And you know me, don't ever press anything down till it's where you want it, because you got to make sure you're straight on your sides, top sides, bottoms. Okay. And by golly, I'm going to call that close enough. So that's how you make the swirl, but you have to put something over the top here. A lot of people will put, kind of like I did on this one, they'll take, say, a 1/2-inch strip of paper and they'll put the words on it, but I didn't want that thickness to go on here because I really, really want to see as much of my swirl as I can. Let me see. Let me put this on and then I'll check my questions. Now with this here, I did make it longer. So I can always just, when I put it on there, let me just snip that right now before I tape it down. Yep, good enough. And then I have my glue mat. So let me see. And then this is where I'm going to hide my little seam that I have. A little gummy there, rub it off. And that there is the start of my card. So let me check my comments and see if I have any other questions on this. Let me see. Great. Thanks for liking and sharing, Gwen. Evelyn from Germany. Hello, my dear. How are you doing today? So Melinda's favorite color is blue. Stampin' Up! Is such a cool company. They actually put a challenge out to the demonstrators, and if their sales were higher this April than last April, they did this exact same pattern in pinks, and it was beautiful. Very, very nice. So, Deborah, I'm glad you are on here. Better late than never, my friend. I've lived by that motto for years. So Melinda wishes that she could get some rain. You know, it is true. If you don't have it and you need it, you really do want it. And I don't mind rainy days as long as I don't have to go anywhere. So did I use the stylish shapes to cut your circles? I did, Karen. Any shapes would do. I mean, if you have the older Stampin' Up! Circles, whatever, you know, punches, whatever you have. But for this, I did use the stylish shapes. So Evelyn said she made such cards for Christmas some years ago and even used different shapes. You know, that's interesting because I was wondering how it would work with the squares. Ooh, Evelyn, you gave me something to think about. So she says you can do circles, ovals, and squares. I know what I'll be doing today on my rainy day. Carla, I'm glad you're here. Terry, good. Terry, I'm glad you like it. She's going to try it. And Terry, you are a part of my team, so be sure to put that on our team Facebook page so everybody could see it. Hey, Lynn, I hope you're doing good. Renee, glad you're here. Debbie, good. Debbie hasn't made one of these either. She's going to make one. It's easier than you think. It's just for some reason I was struggling in the beginning. So, Carla, I'm glad you love the card and can't wait to try it, Sandy. All right, so let me get going. So when I had to decorate this, I felt like I needed something here and here. So for this one, it's across the way there. This one, let me grab the set. Okay. So for these words I used, it's called Heartfelt Hexagon. So I took this here. Actually, we have a punch for this shape that cuts these words out, punches the words out. But I used this, and then I just fussy cut. So I put sending you lots of love and hugs. I know some people I need to send that card to also. And then for this one, the other card I used the hot air balloon. And for the other card, I'm using the Just a Note to Lift You Up. And for here, I thought, well, so you don't have to buy so many sets, although you're more than welcome to. Let me try to use the same set. So for here, I stamped with the Mist and Moonlight. I already stamped it and fussy cutted it. I have Wish Big. And then over here, up and away, up and away, hooray, it's your birthday. So do y'all like it with the fussy cut on the right? I know I like the Wish Big. Or do you think it should be more symmetrical like that? I know what I like, but I'm going to see what everybody else says. So fussy cut or square. There's always a little bit of a delay, so I'll give y'all a second to tell me what you like. Put a shout out. So it's that one, the square, or the fussy cut. You just gotta let me know. Fussy cut. Fussy cut. I'm gonna let those come in for just a minute. Fussy cut. Let's see what everybody's saying here. Fussy, fussy, fussy. Okay, good. So it looks like the fussy cut wins. I like that. So thanks for answering that. And I wanted to grab some bling because I didn't have bling on it. So this is definitely one. I like the fussy cut too, my friends. That was my choice. Yep, it's unanimous. So here I'm also going to put on some dimensionals. So I got a little dimension there. And I think I mentioned it, but when I did use the stitch shapes, I used the 3 largest circles. The biggest one, then I went down from there, all the way to the small. So here I've got some of the basic rhinestones. I was thinking I could just put them on straight, but then again, I grabbed the Night of Navy, since that's what that is. And we're going to color a couple of these and try to add them. So that's the light. Let me go with the darker one. And y'all know when you're using alcohol markers, you can color anything that is non-porous. So that's what's so great about them. You can make all the colors that you have of the blends. Let me do a medium one there. Just give them a second to dry and you'll be good to go. Now you can't do that with regular markers because that is a water base. But this here is an alcohol base, so you can. So now, where do I put them? That's where I always get lost. Let's put one there. And let's put a medium. Where do I want to put my medium one? There. And then another one. I usually work in 3s. Because I was going to put one there. But again, that's where the drafter comes in. It's just like too symmetrical. Let's put it there. Okay. And that is symmetrical in a roundabout way, so I'll work on that. But this is the swirly card. That is the first one made with half of those circles. So going from there, now I'm going to show you how to do the curly one. So with the curly one, I'm going to take my other circles. Let me get my little mat here. And kind of the same thing. I have got my middle, the large with the coordinating color, this large with the coordinating color. So those are just opposite. Now when I do the curl, I do just the opposite. When I'm doing the bottom one, I'm going to adhere the circles to the right. And when I do the top, I'm going to adhere the circles to the left. So it's all about direction, y'all. So for the bottom, I'm going to put on here. I will adhere my circles to the right. So there's one. So see, it's easy once you know how. You'll know I had that teacher, shame I can't remember his name, but always taught me that it's easy once you know how. Doesn't matter if it's rocket science or whatever it is. And then the top, I'm going to adhere my circles to the left. Oop, a little gummy there. And this one goes here. And as I said, I do a mystery stamping with my team. That is a lot of fun. And last night was called a Celebrate and Create. So for their accomplishments, I had about 35 on my team who earned it. And we all got together and we did demonstrations. They stamped 3 projects. We did it all by Zoom, so it really didn't matter where you were. A lot of fun. So when you do this one, when you put it together, it looks like that. And what I found is if you do have a pattern and you want it to go the other way, see how my little flowers are upside down? I just turn it and look at that. It's like magic. It's right side up again. So when I did this card, I did not want to tape it onto the blue that I have here. I did not want to tape it on that. I wanted this to kind of stand up by itself so I could put it on with dimensionals. So what I did is I just cut a medium circle. Just cut another one. You're not going to see it. I went ahead and let me put my glue on here. Just kind of put it on here. Again, it doesn't have to really match because it's smaller than those circles. But this was what would hold this together. So I'll line them up like that. And now I have this where I can turn it every which way. So there again, I'm going to take the ink I'm using is Misty Moonlight. And for the life of me, I'm trying to think what the blue is. I know I have it. Someone help me out. What does that look like? The Misty Moonlight. I know I got it. Hold on. I think it was in color. Yes, it was. Boho Blue. Boho Blue. Who told me that? Look at that. Thank you, Karen. You ding, 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 ding. Karen and Carla are our winners. Yes, it was Boho Blue. Thank you. Y'all are so good. So here I'm going to take my Boho Blue. Again, already embossed with the exposed brick. And put it on here. And then I just took a piece. This is, it's 1/2 inch. And I'm going to take the other set here. This was the one again from the Hot Air Balloon, Just a Note to Lift You Up. So I do have to say, my poor husband Danny is eaten up with chiggers. He's such a nice guy. He went up to help a guy up in this field up the road, and he couldn't get a part off the car. So Danny said, let me show you how it's done. He's been a mechanic many decades. So he laid on the ground, hammered the part off, helped the guy out. It was great. Only to realize he had laid in a bed of chiggers. So while he is eaten up, do y'all have any home remedies for chiggers? We did use the nail polish, although they say it doesn't work. It's kind of mixed reviews. I'm going to go get him some Chigger X lotion because I think that should help. I don't know if like Benadryl. I one time had the worst case of chiggers my doctor had ever seen. She had told me, you know, this is like crazy. And it was crazy because what happened was we had gone bike riding and he was going to go a little further. And I said, well, I'll just wait for you right here. Stood right in the bed of chiggers because you know you can't see them. And lo and behold, you know, you didn't really get dirty that day. So you put the same pair of jeans on the next day. Thank God for good elastic because the only place I didn't have them was where my underwear was and where my bra was. She gave me a steroid. So I know how miserable chiggers can be. So if y'all have a home remedy, let me know because Danny looks like a polka dot man with all of his calamine lotion on him. Definitely no fun. So here I have my pieces. I'm just going to take this here. And actually, you know what? I think I do want to put that on with dimensionals. But they are no fun. So, no comments. So obviously nobody's had chiggers. You're lucky. You are lucky. I'll put this on here. I popped it up. I'm just going to cut a little bit of an angle, like so. So I have that. And then I do still want to pop it up here. There we go. One. So looking at these cards, which one is your favorite? Are you liking the curl or the swirl? Oh, okay. Oh, Tink. Tink's my country gal. She would know. Tink says, wipe yourself down with ammonia. That's what we used when we were covered. I'm sure he will try that, Tink, because he's getting a little desperate. And then I was freaked out because, of course, I'm washing everything. I washed the blankets. I washed the sheets. And so today I put the, right before I started, I put the sheets in the washing machine. And then you know how you just think about it and you feel itchy? So I was kind of freaking out. So I washed my hands all the way up to my elbows before I got started. And hopefully I'll be okay because I have one. I've got one little chigger right there, which isn't fair because I wasn't even out there. I guess that's called guilty by association. So these, my friends, are the easy peasy cards once you know how. So which one do you like better? Do you like the swirl or the curl? But as you can see, you can do this with cardstock. You can do it with designer paper. Both are great. And don't forget that Stampin' Up! Does have their designer paper sale going on right now. These patterns are 15% off. They are Bright and Beautiful, Countryside Inn, which is what I used, Country Lace, which is gorgeous, along with the Country Woods. Oh my gosh, those are both in the new catalog. You know, the one that, our annual catalog. Lily Pond, Full of Life, Mediterranean Blooms, Perennial Lavender, The Thoughtful Journey, Take to the Sky, To Market, Unbounded Beauty, Wildly Flowering, and then Winter Meadow. I might be creating with Winter Meadow next week because it is gorgeous. But don't forget, you can sign up for my newsletter. You can join my team. You can purchase just by going to creatingwithcolleen.com. And most of all, just remember, I am here to help you create any way you can. So if you have questions, let me know. But do like, share my video. Please help me get word out there. Because one thing I love to do is to teach. And you can help me teach others by sharing what I do. So Renee says she likes them both, but she's leaning towards the swirl. Karen likes the swirl. Debbie likes the swirl. Susan likes the swirl. Evelyn prefers the curl, probably because she made tons of the swirls for Christmas cards. That is true, Evelyn. You might be tired of the swirl. Okay, good. So everybody seems to like them both, which is really good. So I'm so glad you do. But get your paper out and try it. It really is a lot of fun. And as you can see, it's more simple than you thought. So I will put y'all's names in a hat for your comments and for your sharing. If you've shared the video, whether you're watching it live or not, please, watching on YouTube, please put in the comment that you did share and that you liked it. And I will give one swirl and one curl card away next week. And don't forget, if you are Carol Helms or Judy Dawson, I did a video on this where you stamp the one piece of paper and you make 4 cards. If you gals would just send me your address to my email address, or you can private message me your address, I'll be sure to drop these cards in the mail to you. So let me see. Okay, so everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your company in the stamp room, and I hope you have a blessed day. And I'm going to see you next Wednesday, noon Eastern time, right here on my Creating with Colleen Magnus channel. So y'all have a great day. Get out and create and brighten someone's day. Thanks so much now. Bye-bye.